Our council meeting, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Carl started recording. I want to go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Sure thing. Immediate past chair. Fire Marshal Sean Toomey.
Hi. Morning.
Vice Chair, Acting Chair, Tim Diehl.
Here.
Ryan Adams. Fire Marshal Ted Black.
Here.
Fire Marshal Boisford.
Here.
Fire Marshal Desrochers.
Here, sir.
Chief Hyde is excused. Ed Kaminsky.
Here.
Chief King was unable to make it. He is excused. Same with Chief Lefevre, Canada. Fire Marshal Lund.
Present.
Fire Marshal Medina.
Here.
Marshal Nelson. Kelly Nicolello. Here. Chief Metz in the room. Okay. We have one.
Thank you, sir. Do you want to present our new CEO for comments? I'm putting you on the spot right now, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Don, would you mind? Oh, that's awesome. Good morning. I'm John Belsick, if you didn't realize that from last night, and, but I just wanted to take a couple minutes to say hello. Over the last, since about July, when I got the job, I've experienced a series of emotions, excitement and gratitude. And, but the one that always stays with me is humility. Whenever I'm in a room with a group of people like you give freely of your time voluntarily, give time to ICC to make the world in the United States a safer place. People benefit from what you do. What you do is important and relevant. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. And what we do is meaningful. And I hope you had a great conference. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll let you do your important work. And it's a privilege for me to be part of an organization, a small part of an organization that enables all of you to do the really important work of this organization. So thank you again. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. We look forward to continuing that good work. I did notice, and I'm going to go off script a little bit, Past President Stuart Tom, if he would like to say a few words very quickly.
Thanks, Tim, and to everybody here. I may have to leave a little bit early because I do attend all the membership council meetings. But as you have come to know, I always start with FSMC. This is a very, very important membership committee to me personally. And so once again, I'm starting with this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. See any other board members here real quick? Sure, very good. I will like to welcome the new members that we are having coming on board. Darcy is here. Didn't see Mr. Sullivan anywhere. So, welcome, welcome. Go ahead and start into our guest presentation. Chief O'Brien, if you would like to give us an update.
Well, good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning, Chief.
I was trying to bring a little excitement. I know some of you had a long night. And we're getting into the real part of the conference this afternoon anyways, right? So, on behalf of the ICC Battery Ad Hoc Committee, I just wanted to give you a brief little update of the work that the committee is doing. Has anybody here been attending the calls or is on the committee? Awesome. Big thanks to all of our membership and interested parties. It's probably one of the bigger interested parties in participation. So For those of you who don't know, back in January, the board of directors established an ICC ad hoc committee for lithium ion batteries. We're covering the major topics, and right now our purpose is to do a gap analysis, not really to provide solutions, but to provide a report back to the board with the gaps. And then from there, the board will decide what the next steps will be. So we reported out to the president and the board this week, just where we're at. And I'll give you just a little summary. So we have broken the committee down into 4 work groups. Just because it's such a wide thing when you talk about batteries, it could be the use, it could be the creation, it could be the recycling, it could be the assembly. And there are so many different ways, even if you're automotive to ESS and everybody in between. So we broke it down into 4 work groups. They have been working diligently and they've submitted all of their reports. At this point in time, we're correlating all of that for a December board meeting presentation to the ICC Board of Directors. That is kind of where we're at. I'll give you a couple teasers of some big items that we're seeing. Number 1, training. Our code officials are looking for more training in the built environment. And this could be from how do we do residential ESS plan review, how to be active or get commercial ESS plan review right, all the way through all of our use and assembly buildings is really become a very important topic. One of the things that's really come up is Code Basics 101, which is how does a code official who's on the 2015 fire code use some of our more modern provisions in a topic that's not covered. And that's been a pretty big topic that a lot of people don't fully understand. And our code forefathers, we'll call them, actually did a pretty nice job of giving some leeway. Now, some of our states amend out Chapter 1. And so some of this new technology is really just pointing to the fact that when states and communities mess with the code to make all these modifications, they sometimes break some of the intent and it makes it a little more difficult. So we are working very diligently on all of these topics to really try to have something for the membership. And there are some hard areas that are beyond just our fire and building code. So one of the areas, for instance, is how do we help our planning and zoning? And is there an opportunity within the family of codes for the fire code and building code experts that are dealing with batteries to put that expertise in? So big thanks to Christine. She's been the gatekeeper of a very ADHD committee. And there's a lot of squirrels that we keep noticing along the way. And so we're going to keep working all the way up to the last minute to get this prepared and out to the board. But I am happy to go deeper or answer more questions. But I think it's been a really good thing to see such collaboration across so many disciplines. It's not just fire, it's not just building. We have architects, we have manufacturers. We brought in SAE experts and we've reviewed a lot of different things, and it's good to see where codes and standards are working. And it's also good to see where we can learn from incidents as well. Happy to answer any questions.
Chief, good morning. Just real quick, from a response capacity, do any of the groups, are they looking at that component in itself, being how wide ranging the whole subject is? And especially since we really don't have any type of agent out there that is available to use, that's either is either enough of it or there's a standard that covers it, or, you know, all that listing issues that are required behind that. Is that something you can kind of give us just a little snapshot on if that is being looked at?
Yeah, so from the response perspective, you know, a big part of all of our battery stuff pushes to the emergency response plans that are supposed to be developed, as well as, right, fire service response to many of these incidents. What I would tell you is there are a lot of groups. It'd be very simple for us to say, hey, look, and then it's a little outside of our scope, but NFPA, FSRI are doing a great job of developing tactics for firefighters on batteries specific to EVs. Some of the stuff that we are learning that goes far beyond, we have had some very successful incidents in the response profile where sprinklers have controlled our battery related fires. And then we've seen also the other side when we have impaired sprinklers, how disastrous it can be, and it's just amplified with batteries. And so I think that this is going even though it's not a primary focus, there is no doubt that I think this document is going to help push. I think DOE, DOT, FEMSA, a lot of our partners are paying attention and they want to help the response community, but they're not sure quite yet where to go. And so I think the EV side's getting covered. I do see, and it's funny that we're here in Long Beach, right? Because just up the street,
Bingo.
we had an ESS in transit, and probably half of the US's ESS are gonna be getting unloaded here. And then they're gonna leave on the roads and our people are gonna have to deal with it. And the interesting part where our codes and standards get into this response profile, we think about the ESS once it's installed. A lot of times it's being parked, it's being staged, they're put in laydown yards well before they get to the final location. So there's a lot in the response profile that we weren't even thinking. And so and a lot of our code officials are looking for answers for all of those things that deal with it. A good, for instance, is the Rivian incident where we lost all the cars. Right. So one of the questions becomes, where does the fire code apply to these large parking lots that are filled with such things? And that's, Rivian isn't the only one. There's Dearborn has a lot with about 3,500 cars parked in it, all battery. And that's one of their questions. Should they be doing something different? And so there's a lot of questions in there that are based on that.
Yeah, there was huge impact here just down the street, just between the two bridges,
Yeah.
between here and LA. And it shut down the road system for 3 days and stopped all the terminals from loading and unloading, to the tune of millions and millions of dollars. And so we're here locally, I just know for a fact that, there's prime interest on how could they handle that better? You know, instead of just letting it quote unquote burn out before they even got into the issue of how do we actively work it and of course, you know, make the scene safe and remove it, all those things that happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I would extend to this group, probably first quarter next year, we'll be able to do a presentation on the findings of the report once the board accepts it and lets us go do what we're supposed to do. So I'm sure we'll be back with much more detail. I really hope it's a good document that's going to help us guide a lot of conversations in our rooms and outside of our rooms, because this isn't just on the ICC to fix, and this isn't just codes and standards, but there's a lot of gaps here that our communities are looking for support. They're looking for direction, but those other partners are paying attention as well. And that's where I'm excited to see how that affects us. So it could be those things where collaboration with things like EPA, things like DOT, they're looking to see what that report's gonna say as well. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Carl.
Just a quick note, I wanted to say a note of personal thanks to Chief O'Brien on behalf of ICC staff. For those of you who don't know, he was traveling this past week, working with Chief Sajeski in the State Fire Marshal's office at the CalChiefs Conference. I believe you did a trip to Connecticut. In the meantime, back from the West Coast to Connecticut for a few short days, here to address the ICC Board of Directors meeting on Saturday about the same topic you just heard. He taught yesterday and he's with us today. So I just wanted to express our thanks and appreciation for all that he does for the fire service members.
Well done, Mike.
Thank you. As we have a lot of new people, new members, at this meeting, I want to go around the room real quick and just kind of introduce everybody. And reminder, we are recording, so make sure that you speak up. But I'll go ahead and start. Tim Diehl, Howard County, current chair of the Fire Service Council.
I'm Rick Boisman, I'm the fire marshal from the Brighton Area Fire Department.
Jonathan Lund, Fire Marshal in Des Moines, Iowa. Larry Medina, Deputy Fire Marshal with the Oregon State Fire Marshal's Office, representing Western Fire Chiefs.
Ed Kaminsky, I'm a fire protection engineer for the Clark County Fire Department in Las Vegas.
Christine Reed, turning off the FSMC Governing Committee, the new Fire and Disaster Mitigation Program Manager with ICC.
Sean Toomey, State Fire Marshal in New Hampshire, and because of all of you, a new board member, so thank you. Why we're keeping our distance.
Ted Black, Utah State Fire Marshal, representing the National Association of State Fire Marshals on this council.
Kelly Nicolello, retired Alaska State Fire Marshal, currently working with UO Solutions.
Doug Nelson, North Dakota State Fire Marshal, representing the National Association of State Fire Marshals.
Darcy Davidson, Assistant Fire Marshal, Carlsbad Fire Department, and newest member here. Thank you.
Mike Desrochers, I'm the Vermont State Fire Marshal, the president of the National Association of State Fire Marshals, and I represent this council as ICC member.
Shamim Rashid Simar, I'm a fire protection engineer with the National Ready Mix Concrete Association.
Carl Fippinger, ICC staff.
Schmitz, ICC staff. Bill Nash, ICC staff.
Brighton. Gary Hubble, National Fire Protection Association.
Stuart Tom, a retired vice president. And now a past president.
And did a great job, by the way.
Fire Marshal in Hamilton, New Jersey. Henry Rivera's, Chief Fire Marshal, New York City, NTA Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Nicole Pescara, Red Fire Marshal, also the California Fire Prevention Officers First Vice President, Southern Region.
Crystal Sajewski, Cal Fire Office of the State Fire Marshal.
The ICC staff will be.
Chris Wagner, National Propane Gas Association.
Ray Copper, Fire Code Official and Building Official, John Washington, and Kurt Ball, President.
Steve Mariano, City of Ashland.
And Current Assistant Prison Treasurer.
Joe Tenek, International Association of Firefighters, Wildfire and Interface Fire Program, retired Cal Fire.
Greg Anderson, Cal Fire, Office of State Fire Marshal, Chief of Fire Engineering Investigations.
Robert Marshall, Deputy Fire Chief, San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department, Sheriff Academy.
Art Meinhardt, Anthony Department, Fire Planning Bureau, Inspector.
Randy Metz, Fire Marshal, Carlsbad Fire Department, Carlsbad, California, and your board liaison from the ICC Board of Directors.
And newly elected.
Thank you, sir.
Stuart Brennan, Fire Marshal, Campbell County, Wyoming.
Jared Tucker, Director of Construction at Target.
Dave Myers, Fire Safety Engineer at Riverside County Fire Department.
He's pagando from, Puerto Rico Fire Department.
Diane Green, Cal Fire Office of the State Fire Marshal, Assistant Deputy Director.
Good morning, Dan Boulant, California State Fire Marshal.
Renee Nix, Benedict County Fire Inspector, Chair for Region 11, and Executive Director for New Mexico AFSA.
Tom Fitchner, Shakopee Fire Marshal, Shakopee, Minnesota, and Fire Marshal, President of Fire Marshals Association. So.
John Abner, Fire Inspector, Mount Lord, Florida.
Patty Dahl, Fire Marshal, Pechanga Indian Reservation, and Second Vice President of the California Fire Prevention Officer, Southern Division.
Jennifer Garcia, Cal Fire, Office of State Fire Marshal.
Jessica Power, Fire Marshal, Petaluma, California.
Amy Stuckey, Assistant Fire Marshal, Petaluma, California.
Mark Anderson, representing Edwards and Kid Commercial North America. First honor. Rick Womack, retired Coastal Fire Ops Chief, now working for the American Foot Council covering the Western region.
All right, David Ridlinger, Division Chief, Code of Interpretations, North Carolina Office of State Fire Marshal, and on behalf of Brian Taylor, State Fire Marshal of North Carolina, we want to congratulate Sean Toomey on being elected to the board. Thank you.
Jason Pryor, Fire Marshal, Georgetown, Texas.
Glenn Truby, Fire Marshal, the Travis Fire Rescue, and Legislative Chair for the Texas Fire Marshal Association.
John Swanson, National Fire Sprinkler Association.
Very good.
Tim, if I may, Carl Fippinger, ICC staff, I'd like to ask everybody to take a moment of silence. Robert Sharkovich died yesterday, line of duty death, in the fire department that I grew up in Weathersfield, Connecticut, my hometown. Firefighter Sharkovich is retired Hartford, City of Hartford firefighter, and then continued to volunteer in his retirement. He was with 3 members and himself on an ATV. The ATV rolled over and killed him, injured the other 3. This was an operation at a wildfire that took place in a place that's not supposed to have wildfire. Mutual aid call 2 towns away. And they've been operating on that for 2 days and they're still finishing up today. So I ask for a moment of silence for firefighter Starkey. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank everyone for attending. I appreciate you all being here. Any additions or corrections to the agenda? None. Approval of the minutes from last meeting. Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions? All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Move into our, work groups. As you noticed, our member engagement group, doesn't currently have a chair. This is going to be another topic for the next year to discuss and possibly refocus, that member engagement platform and where we want to take this as a group. Along with that, it will be finding someone who's willing to take on that responsibility. I'll move into emerging issues and trends. Mr. Desrochers.
Thank you, Chair. Hey, I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to solicit folks that want to participate on this emerging issue and trends work group. The emerging issues and trends work group continues to meet monthly. And we have been very fortunate to have a high volume of participation in our monthly calls. There's been a lot of collaboration between all the fire service membership work groups, sharing information and attending each other's group meetings. We have updated the work group PowerPoint program, which shows all the work that we've done in the past couple of years. So all the topics that we have debated in a group are all put in this PowerPoint program, which is really nice, and it's just recently been updated. The group over the next couple months will be working on our 2025 goals and objectives. And we will also be completing next year's monthly schedule. So we meet monthly every third Monday of the month, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just for awareness. So over the past few months here, some of the topics that we've been discussing in our group include indoor fire pits. So if you want to find out stuff about indoor fire pits, you can just Google it. And what they do is they're like tabletop indoor decorative fire pits fueled by either ethanol gel or liquid. You can order them online. You can even purchase ones that run on rubbing alcohol. But I'd encourage you to go online and see this stuff because it's amazing what you can find out there online. We've also been discussing portable EV charging systems. This was first utilized by the military, generates and stores its own electricity, and tracks the sun to generate up to 25% more energy. The battery storage allows you to charge during the night, inclement weather, and power outages. It fits inside a standard parking space, and because vehicles easily park on the base pad, you won't lose any single spot for parking. Reaching as many as 12 vehicles. You can charge up to 6 EVs at the same time. It deploys in minutes, and according to the instructions, no permitting, no construction, no electrical work, and no utility bills. So this is just something was presented to this group. They're just portable, and you can set them up basically anywhere. Another issue that came up, and this was in Ed's area here in Las Vegas, but in Clark County, Nevada is participating in a construction of a unique underground transportation system using 12-foot diameter bored tunnels with an asphalt driving surface. The initial design is for electric passenger vehicles conveying the general public. Once this infrastructure is in place, other users are possible. So basically what this is, and maybe Ed, you can chime in, because this is in your area, but just a 12-foot diameter tunnel connecting hotels to hotels and entertainment areas. And of course, our concern when we're discussing this in our group is, how do you respond, how does emergency services respond to a traffic incident or worse, a fire with this EV vehicle in such a small confined area? I don't know, Ed, if you want to add to that, or.
Well, we're concerned in the fire service industry about electric vehicles on the open roadways. And now we have them within a confined space within the tunnel. And I'd like to say that it's not just going to be a Las Vegas thing, because they are actively marketing to different municipalities around the country, because as we see them operate, they'll be touring Memphis, they'll be touring Austin, they'll be touring different countries or different jurisdictions around the country. So that's why it's truly an emerging trend, and we don't see them slowing down. So in Las Vegas, the grand plan is for 68 miles, at least 68 miles of underground tunnel. So to regulate that, we look at, we went to the NFPA standards to regulate that, and it gets to be, well, is it a transit system like a BART, or is it a roadway? There's cars in there, so it's a roadway. But then they want to, the company, the Elon Musk company, is called the Boring Company. The Boring Company say, well, it's more like a train system. So we should regulate under NFPA 130. And we look at it and say, well, there's cars in there, so it should be NFPA 502 for roadway tunnels. We contact the NFPA and they say, well, what is it? And they split the baby and say, well, it's neither. You really need a whole new standard. So I've been contacting the chair of 130, seeing if we could either do a new chapter or what would we like to do. I don't want to take too much more time, but the response issue is major. That's why I'm here. I do not want to send our guys into a tunnel and not have them come back. And I don't want to send guys in a bottle in there with a 30-minute bottle where they have 10 minutes to work and 10 minutes to get to the vehicle involved, 10 minutes to work and 10 minutes to get out. So a 30-minute bottle with the exit spacing, we see an NFPA 130, you would never be able to reach the car. So, you reach the car on your air pack and it'd be time to go back already. So we've been debating exit spacing for about 5 years now. And we would like the exit spacing to be on the order of 1,200 to 800 feet and allow also cross passages between parallel. What NFPA 130 says right now is 2,500 feet, which is way too long. And the NFPA Research Foundation has challenged that number with a report that was out in February. So truly is an emerging issue, and it's not just for Vegas.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Another item we've been discussing here recently is, which everyone here is a little bit familiar with, is AI technology. We have discussed AI and how that might impact the fire service in the future. How does it impact inspections, plan review, the whole construction industry? And just a little example might be in 2 years, if you're an architect, you could tell AI, I want to build a 2-story wood frame, 6,000 square foot business occupancy or whatever. And this program will design that building for you. It'll do your height and area limitations. It'll do your corridor widths, your construction type validation, all that stuff will be done by AI. So what does that mean to a jurisdiction that is doing permitting for plan review? So that's an item that we've been discussing, and we have had a couple guest speakers come in and speak about AI at a basic level, but my understanding is that technology is advancing so quickly that what is there now is not gonna be nearly what it is in a year from now or 2 years, just exponentially technology advancing so fast in this arena. So that's something this group is looking at and actively participating in discussions. The other item that most recently, which most folks probably have heard about, is our one-way out of buildings that were up to 6 stories in height. That was a discussion here. Of course, that particular subject actually went into a lot of national discussions. As my role as president of NASM, we did publish a opposition paper, and then I provided testimony or opposition presentation at NFPA in Boston last month. So our thought process was, let's respect the code development process with this and not have safety issues that impact our fire service and the occupants of these buildings bypass the code development process. So there's been discussion and there's hopefully some resolution being worked on to address some of this stuff. We've also, in our group, discussed the new OSHA notice of proposed rulemaking for emergency response standards. There's been a lot of updates provided across the country on how those changes would impact the fire service, whether you're a career volunteer or whatever. So that's basically a quick rundown of the newest items that we've been dealing with. But I would encourage you, if you have an emerging issue or trend topic that you feel should be brought to our attention here, please reach out to me. Or I'm gonna put Carl on the spot, maybe Carl or Tim, but email one of us and we can put that item on our agenda, and we'd love to have you participate in our work meeting. So that's my report, Chair.
Can I add one thing to his report? Since we have a lot of new people sitting in the room. So one of the aspects of the committee is not just bring the information in, but what do we do with it? Is this an item that deserves to go to the FCAT for code consideration? An example that would be the one exit issue when that is working its way through the code process. There's other things that maybe are a federal issue and should be pushed in that direction. So we talk about it, but the idea is, where do you categorize it and who should attack that issue and who should be brought into that issue? And then from that standpoint there, we just kind of watch and see where it goes. But the idea is bring the information in and then send the information back out to those locations who really have the interest, the power, and the means to be able to deal with that particular issue and then move on to something new.
Thank you, Kevin.
Very good. Any other questions?
Chair.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Director Toomey.
We actually had two, we had a double fatal with those tabletop, indoor fire pits earlier this year. An elderly couple, and it was so the family was doing it around 4th of July. The woman was fueling it and lost her parents because of the fire ensuing from the trying to fuel it. But then also last week, there was about 90,000 of those tabletop units got recalled by CPSC. So take a peek at the CPSC. If you haven't seen it, a lot of people watching that. It's equipment down.
Thank you, sir. I will chime in on the solar charging stations. We have them. They're out in front of my building right now. Caution on those. Our building official did require a building permit for it, even though it was in the parking lot. He considered it a structure and required a building permit, but it is a self-contained unit. It's interesting to watch, but, yes, that is the deployable model to upgrade the infrastructure as quickly as possible that Howard County has set forth. So they are out there, they are operational. Move into public awareness.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So.
Before you go forward, this is Jeff online. Can we, I had my hand up, but I guess nobody's looking at that. I wanted to talk about the single exit thing real quick.
Oh, no, we're not.
I saw it. I was responding to your text message, Jeff.
Yeah, you're
Go
too
ahead.
slow,
I'll
Pookie.
give it to you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So just in the interest of prioritizing my life, I'm working on preparing for the code hearing. That's why I'm not in the room. One of the items that I'm working on pretty feverishly is the E24 single exit issue. And I've kind of worked myself into a position of trying to facilitate the interests of different parties. I will say that when this first came up, I was totally opposed to it, but as I've worked with the proponents and with the fire service organizations, I think we have reached a resolution for this cycle that so far everybody that I've talked to supports. I understand this is not really the venue for the membership council, but as much as just talking to all the fire service people that you may be present when this comes up on the MOE in a couple of days. The proposal is going to limit to 4 stories, which is already permitted by NFPA 101. And our requirements on top of that will actually end up being more restrictive than NFPA 101. So there will be a floor modification brought forward on that issue. The proponent has agreed to stop at 4 stories. And it's also going to be limited to 4,000 square feet per story, which you could do a single exit with that dead end corridor design on each floor. So it's going to be very restrictive compared to what was originally proposed. And I will have a floor modification prepared and printed and in the system in advance of that. I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that the issue of 5 or 6 stories is not going to be advanced further in this cycle. So I'll try to get that out as soon as possible, but it's complicated just based on trying to get this prepared as a floor modification. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
So
while we have a quick moment, I just wanted to recognize that not only is Jeff Shapiro online, but we've got Bob Sullivan from NFPA, Keith Tanner from Arizona, Jeff Lucas, Dory Booth, and Cindy Gudradis. Brian Proch also joined us too.
Awesome. So the public awareness report, we work very closely with emerging issues. And basically what we do is try to put into words a briefing of some sort, explanation of some sort, a story of some sort relating to that particular subject. And then we try to figure out who best needs to see or hear that information. Sometimes it's a quick hit within the ICC development. Sometimes it's more of just a fire issue, and we'll send it out to those organizations who can then pass it on to their membership. And so we're probably never short of subjects to write about. What we are short of is maybe some participants to help write them. And we usually have a list of items that we have prioritized as to what needs to be put out to the public and to the fire service. And we kind of follow that outline, and we look at it every couple months to make sure we don't need to reprioritize our list. And then we go through the ICC process to get that published either within the building code journal or put out just as a flyer to or different organizations. And then ultimately, hopefully when the website gets to be where it really needs to be, we'll be able to post those online and available to you as the fire service to be able to download those and use those in your community for public education issues. So we do meet the second Tuesday of the month at 12 o'clock, 12:30 Central. And everybody or anybody who wants to participate in that realm is more than happy to do that. You can do it as and become a member of that, or if you just want to sit in cheap seats and listen in, you're more than welcome to do that also. All input is welcome. And we hope to be able to add a few more people to our committee. So I'll just add that out as an open invitation. That concludes my report. Pardon? Yeah, second Tuesday.
One should be a message. I'll be glad to add you to the calendar invite.
Yeah, thank you, Carl.
Any questions? I will say, the new membership engagement that we'll kind of review later on should help with that, getting that information out. It does have an area for all those files to be uploaded and accessible to not only the members of this group, but also the other members across the councils and now the ICC. So, I look forward to taking those publications that you create and getting them out there to everybody and spread them more word. So,
Thank you, Tim.
yes, sir. As you can see, our training committee doesn't have a head either right now. Again, this will be a topic of discussion to possibly reorganize, redirect those efforts, and looking for the person who would be willing to take that on. I'll move into the reports of officers and liaisons. Director Metz is in the building. Sir, do you have a report?
Thank you, Mr. Diehl. I will start by saying congratulations to Director Sean Toomey. He's now the second former chair of the Fire Service. Be elected to the board of directors. So whoever decides to step up and move into this chair position in the future, watch out. You may not end up there for long, but thank you, Sean, for all that you've done for membership council. I know it's kind of bittersweet when you have to step away from this group because it is such an outstanding group, but we expect great things from you on the board of directors. Thank you, Randy. I'd also like to extend a congratulations to Brandon Sullivan and Darcy Davidson on their election to the governing committee. It's great to see additional people interested in serving at this level, and it's always a very difficult decision on selecting individuals that will become part of the governing committee. So congratulations to both of you. I hope that other people in this room will see the value that this group brings. I still firmly believe that the Fire Service Membership Council is the model that we, as board of directors, hope that all of our membership councils will strive to organize the way you have. I think I guess it was last year in Tampa, when Carl gave a presentation to the board on an issue that came directly from the membership council, when we like to say that you guys are an advisory group to the board, recommending the creation of an ad hoc committee, and then seeing the work that has been done over the last year and a half, being led by Chief Michael Bryan, that it was the right thing for you guys to do to bring it forward. It was definitely the right thing for the board to stand up an ad hoc committee, and we couldn't have selected a better leader for this group. And the diversity of the people that were appointed to this committee, as well as the interested parties that continue to participate. I can't wait to see what the final report reads when the board gets that this winter. So continue to do great work. You know, as Mike Desrochers said, there are so many emerging issues that are out there. And I think that the fire service is probably the best arm of ICC to bring those emerging issues, because we're the ones that are seeing things after we've built them and seeing where we went wrong, where we can do better. And I just want to see you all continue to push that forward there. Trying to think what else we want to, this is a great turnout in this room. Thank you all for coming to Long Beach. I hope you all will be able to stay, some of you, for participation in the Group A code hearings. A lot of issues to be dealt with, and your expertise is much needed. I'd like to also extend a great thanks to Carl Fippinger, Tim Schmitz, and Christine Reed for all that you have done as staff members to assist this group and make them, I won't say productive, they're productive without you, but helping to steer the ship through our political process. I'm sure Carl's going to talk about future help that we are getting. It's been frustrating as a board member to see all that we have done, all that Carl has done to expand the footprint of where we were just dealing with fire service issues. When Carl came on, we just expanded that
to disaster management type issues. Carl's been all over the world, spent time in Hawaii, has gone to natural disasters in Florida. We really have pushed the envelope on where ICC is in the marketplace here. And we've all said Carl can't continue to do this alone. There's too much work nationally, let alone internationally, to be done. And the board of directors and our CEO Dominic Sims finally recognized the importance of the fire service and said, we're going to give Carl some help. And Christine Reed was the first one that we brought on staff as a full-time member. There'll be additional members coming on shortly, but I think that we very much are now trying to position ICC as a true fire service organization. If you watched any of the National Fire Prevention Summit 2 weeks ago at the United States Fire Administration, we finally got our CEO Dominic Sims up on the dais with other fire service leaders, and that will continue. We will continue to push forward ICC as a major player when it comes to the U.S. Fire Administration. And I think that we are definitely elevating the fire service in the level of importance. We've always been important. We just haven't always necessarily responded with the same amount of resources within the organization, and that's changing. So keep doing all the great work that you guys are doing. I hope that all of you that are sitting on the outside will continue to tune in and participate on work group calls. Be with us every month when we have the governing committee monthly call. But we're thrilled with where FSMC has been, where you are now, and where you're going in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Director Weezy, any comments?
Hi, good morning. Sorry to come in late. Thankfully, Randy told me what room you were all in. I found you eventually. The only thing I want to add is that we just got done with elections and the swearing in of board directors, but I'm always on the hunt for new board directors. That's like my mission in life here at ICC. So we did a lot of work this year to change the nominating committee process, and just highly encourage you to ask questions of any board director about that. But it's going to focus a lot more on recruitment. So if you're thinking that you're not ready yet, or you're not sure if you're interested in being a board director, there's going to be a lot more emphasis on cultivating new board directors rather than kind of doing this mad rush at the end. So I encourage you to just ask anybody. I am always available to talk about board service, and the more people we have running, in my opinion, the better. So congratulations to Sean on joining the board, and we are excited to have 3 new members now on the board of directors. Please look into that. I'm always available to answer any questions.
Thank you. I see Director Applegate just walked through the door also.
I was around the corner. I just want to thank everybody for all the hard work this year, and the membership council is now kind of working together in a different way. I think benefits in all areas, all the technical work that we do. Most of these like single stair political issues, turning more than technical issues. What we do now is probably more important than ever. So just thank you for what you do.
And I will give the opportunity of our newest board of director to say a few words if you would like.
I'm just the new guy. I wanted to again thank you for the opportunities that I had with FSMC. I learned a lot, gained several more great friendships. I appreciate all the support from everybody in the room. I'm excited and honored to be on the board, and look forward to serving in that capacity. And please reach out. Hopefully I can still visit some of the meetings and be part of that, but very excited to be able to get on the board. So thank you.
Thank you all.
I'll also say, Tim, we don't know who your liaison will be for next year. So could be me, could be Sean.
When you step into the octagon?
The board assignments haven't come out yet for next year, but whoever is assigned as your board liaison,
I'm sure that they will have the same level of interest in serving you all as your previous board liaisons have had.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that as the carousel usually goes, but I look forward and I appreciate all that you've done for us, Randy, and me personally also throughout the years. So again, thank you all. Carl, would you like to give the staff liaison update?
I'll keep it brief so that the members have the opportunity to be able to chat. I wanted to, again, say thank you to the board and to all of our members for the resources that we've been afforded here to come on board and be able to help out with what I am anticipating to be a fabulous program. Thank you to Christine Reed for agreeing to join the professional staff. She has jumped right in and made the transition from member to contractor to now full-time staff, and is exiting the governing committee here and continuing her work. So she'll always have a seat at the table here too. But we've also made offers to 3 others to be able to come on board, and we've also hired or in the process of hiring a junior FPE. So for those of you that don't know, we have Beth Tubbs, who's moved up to the Vice President of Codes and out of the Chief Fire Protection Engineer role. We've just hired a new Chief Fire Protection Engineer who you'll meet soon to fill her role. Scott Adams remains with us, and then we'll have that junior FPE coming on board here shortly. So we'll be staffed at a total of 5 in government relations. Myself plus 4, and then we'll have 3 FPE full-time on the tech services team. And of course, Beth is not going far at all as our Vice President of Codes is another FPE. So 5 here, 4 over in tech services. We have just grown astronomically. So with that, I also wanted to take an opportunity to say thank you to Tim Schmitz. Tim is not going anywhere, but as you know, he has full-time responsibility and spent a lot of time supporting me and covering for me, making this group work over the years. Like I said, he's not going far, and he's agreed to help us with whatever we need going forward. So please continue to use him as a resource. But I wanted to thank you personally, Tim, for all of your help in the years that I've been here so far too. One of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit, since we're just coming off of the work group reports, is that it's my intent to ask our team to support each one of these work groups. So for example, we'd ask Christine and the other 3 folks to take a primary lead role in facilitating all 4 of our work groups. So you'll have a dedicated staff resource that will be part of your groups moving forward. So that will hopefully lift and alleviate some of the burden of being a chair or a subcommittee chair for this. And then those folks will be here as a resource to this group for all of our meetings going forward. Of course, travel and other things like that as needed, and they may not be available 100% of the time, but I would say in the high 90s, we'll make sure that we've got some good coverage for this group. So thankfully, as Randy said, travel has been super crazy this year. This is my 4th out of 5 weeks on the road, so I do feel a little bit like Chief O'Brien and the others that have been out here traveling around quite a bit. I know Sean's been on the road back there too. So I've got one more speaking engagement coming up with our partners at the North American Modern Building Alliance. Many of you may remember them from the governing committee. They approached us and have been a good participating member. Myself and Chief Rogers from IAFC Fire and Life Safety Section are going to go down to Houston and sit on a panel and talk about EVs, batteries, micromobility, and all that you just heard about this morning to their group on how that impacts the built environment, particularly the residential built environment and multifamily. Last thing I wanted to say was, Chief Metz hit on this as well, was the idea of wrapping in this whole emergency management disaster mitigation piece. I can tell you that, we've been tracking pretty heavily on what's been going on in, the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. That's had significant impact. And many of you know, Mark Matheny from the Building Membership Council. Mark has been on here quite a bit with his colleague Ed Lazinski and supporting our group. Mark, they suffered quite a huge loss down in Asheville, North Carolina. I've been in touch with Mark quite a bit. The first 6 nights, I believe, we spent almost 24 hours a day for the most part in the Asheville Emergency Operations Center. They had one route open 72 hours after the storm. That was the only route southbound out of the city and the only way in as well too. So many of my friends and colleagues from FEMA have deployed. It's been an all hands call to that southeast region of the country. Hopefully now they're getting all the help that they need, but it's going to be an incredibly long recovery, and there are many victims that are still missing, and even more, unfortunately, that have lost their lives. So that is an important part of what we do here as well too, and I think you'll see that reflected in those additional resources and people that we're bringing on board here, because not only is it the fire service perspective, that's where it started. It's incredibly important. But we're also making sure that we wrap in that whole consideration around disaster mitigation. And Chief Berland and I have spent a lot of time and his staff talking about mitigation, particularly wildfire mitigation. So that's just one example, but there are plenty of others to be able to share. So thank you again to our board and to you, the members, for the resources. We look forward to serving you, and it's been a great year. We have a few vacancies that I'll address with our partners at NASPM and the International Association of Fire Chiefs. Welcome to you, Darcy. It's great to have you on the team. And then welcome to, with the other member's name is Sullivan. So we'll get him on board as well too. But we'll be back up to full operating status between now and the end of the year, and then we'll have our new resources on board, hopefully in another month, maybe month and a half. So thank you for the time.
Questions? We'll move into the reports. I don't have much of a report. I'll save it for later on with the membership engagement platform to review that with everybody. You all heard from the governing council, the steering committee this morning, the newly elected members. I look forward to continuing on with this organization and moving forward as we get ready for the next year. I don't know if there's any other liaisons from any other councils in the room right now, because I know they're all down that way. But I will open it up if there's anybody here. All right, ongoing business. See none. I guess we'll move into new business and the member community platform. If you were in the steering committee meeting this morning, you all saw the front page. I will ask Carl to bring that up so you can all see it. This will be the new way of exchanging information throughout the membership councils in the ICC. Each one has its own page. As you can see, the list of members is on the side. It does have areas for events, forums, discussions, the agendas, meeting minutes. All that is to be placed into this forum and accessible to ICC members. I would ask that everybody sign up. Currently, I think we have 42, so we're gaining there. But I would ask that all the governing members please sign up onto the website. This is going to be the primary access point to exchange information.
And we'll send plenty of information out to all of you. I know that this is not an area that you've probably been into yet, but we will send out information to you about logging in and how this all works. And it's pretty intuitive, which is not necessarily the way that our IT solutions have always been. So we're actually pretty excited about this.
It seems to be working well. I will tell you that as part of the steering committee, we spent a lot of time working the bugs out and making sure that this was operational for the members. It's a little bit like LinkedIn, but you will be able to go in, create your profile, link your profiles, and exchange information. The other part of that was mentioned this morning was a mentor program that is also included on the website. We asked at that point that anybody who has any kind of leadership role, active role, to sign up to be a mentor. You don't have to be an expert, you just have to be willing to lend your knowledge to somebody else. And that's where we're at. But I would encourage everyone to please, sign up, create the profile. Questions, comments, concerns? If you do, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer what questions I can. I work with Bill Nash on the steering committee. And between the two of us, we should be able to get you logged in, LinkedIn, however you need to, whatever your issue is. Like I said, we spent a lot of time over the summer working on this platform, getting it ready to roll out to the membership.
So just so everybody understands kind of where this lives and how to access it. So right now you're looking at the main page of the ICC. So that's that www.iccsafe.org. If you go to the membership pull down here, you go to councils and committees and you click on that, that'll take you to the councils and committees page, which will load here shortly. And then once you get to that, let's see, if we get to that here with our wonderful internet, you'll get to the membership councils and committees, a little bit of an intro here, but then if you click on the Fire Service Membership Council, that will open a new window for you, which is where we were previously here. And what that'll do is ask you basically for your credentials to log in. Either on this page, you can log in up here at the top where you see the lock, or once you click on that, it'll ask you to log in here. But the good news is that this is a single sign-on application. So your credentials, if you have a My ICC account, you use the same credentials for your My ICC account and then affiliate yourself with this website and join it. And we'll give you more detailed instructions on that, but that's the simple and short overview of how you get there and how you use it.
Okay. Thank you. Very well. Be back my agenda. There is, of course, many of you know already, the Congressional Fire Service Dinner, which used to be in April or May, is now been moved to February. So it's right around the corner. They changed the event a little bit as far as the agenda, but it's still most of the same. As in years past, I believe we still will be represented at the dinner and at the event. But I want to make sure everybody is aware of that so we can kind of plan. Kelly, you have a question?
Yeah, just so that everybody know that the location has changed also. It's no longer the Washington Hilton. It's now the Marriott, which is much closer to the congressional offices. For anybody who's making trips to the Hill, you'll be able to walk. You won't have to Uber out.
Yep. So you will find or see more information moving forward as we get closer, I'm sure.
Yeah, just a quick note for folks on this is the CFSI website. If you take a look here in the upper right corner, a call for seminar proposals is open right now. It has been open for just about a month and it's open until October the 30th. I've been selected as the subcommittee chair for the programmatic subcommittee. So I'm leading a group of about 6 of us, including one additional who's Michaela Campbell. Many of you know as professional staff at the CFSI. So we have put out, and I'll click on that for you so you can kind of see what's out there. But if you've got a proposal that you'd like to be able to submit, what we've outlined through our subcommittee is we're looking for submissions for fire department participation in research, marketing the fire and emergency services, and an occupational roadmap for recruitment and retention. And then we've also got an open call. So again, that's open through October the 30th. There are greater details here. You can see this. What exactly does fire department participation in research mean? That's all detailed for you here. So you can go into that. And those top 2 items are panel discussions. that we're seeking, so individuals may apply, and then we'll put them together as a panel of no more than 3 or 4. The topics are limited to 50 minutes apiece, and they will be held the same day as the dinner at the CFSI event. So if you have any questions on that, please let me know. I'd be glad to facilitate any of your submissions if you'd like, but they got to be in by October 30th.
Any questions? Those were a couple topics, but I want to kind of move into, I guess, the questions and comments and open forum, as I would like to really call it, for this group, as far as thoughts on both membership engagement as well as the training curriculum moving forward. I really want to leave it out. Director Metz.
Yeah, I know when you were going through work groups, we talked about the training committee needing somebody to head that up. I just wanted to put out there that that training committee really works directly with Matt Wynn's group on proposing training for ICC. It's not an expectation that you're going to create standalone training out of this group right here and go off on your own. So, you know, I don't want anybody to be scared off on the idea of serving in that capacity. We're making a great inroads right now with our own training and education division here at ICC. And it's really creating a conduit between the membership council and our professional staff that actually design and present training, whether that be a class or at the conference.
If I can add to that. So one of the things that historically the training and education work group were doing, we're trying to apply for in-person conferences, do things more in a larger audience that had a lot of competition for applications. And some ideas that have been floating around or discussed preliminarily within the work group is how can we get down to the members a little bit more on a virtual basis, on either live webinar or recorded webinar, something that members can do at their own schedule as well as if it's pre-scheduled. So we're trying to really look at where do we go within this, you know, into 2025 and how to reach the members instead of expecting them to come to us at in-person. We can certainly still do that for in-person gatherings, but also what can we do on a more virtual or basis that people can accommodate their own schedules versus kind of having to schedule within a set schedule. So something to keep that in mind and always looking at topics for consideration for any kind of, if you have a webinar or you have a training session that you think would be good as either in person or a webinar, please bring them forward. We're always evaluating, and through that work group would have further discussion.
And I would say that part of this also is working with that membership engagement group and finding and helping out finding the speakers that we have before our meetings. That was one of the big items that this group always put out first. I mean, here again, we were innovators with that project. And every other council has seemed to be picking up on that idea. And I really see that, I would like to see that to continue and expand. I know Carl puts in a lot of time trying to find speakers. And I would like that group to kind of focus on that a little bit more. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of people in this group. It doesn't take much to put something 15, 20 minutes together to speak about a topic that is relevant to the codes and to the fire service. So, I don't want to see us do it. I expect, and I would encourage everyone else in the room to, assist in that endeavor.
Tim, if I can just throw, maybe it's just kind of an idea for the group where it ends up heading in, but I would like to see, like Christy mentioned, if we have webinars and webinar, one of the meetings, we have that piece of training beforehand. We could figure out some way to work with ICC to get seat used for that. I think that would be a fantastic way to get further engagement from the mentorship for that, to actually provide that next level of value. Hey, it's just not a topical discussion. Now it's actually, you're gonna get an hour CEU if you log into this through your IC or something like that. It'd be a value added concept to bring to the training.
Yeah, and I think that's, here again, a topic to discuss with, the educational, ICC educational of that possibility and moving, getting that, encouraging that attendance.
I guess to add to that as well too, we have a direct conduit with them all the time. So Matthew Wynn, Jerica Stacy are doing a really great job. It is a top priority for them to be helping us to freshen up and also add to the fire service offerings through ICC training in the next year. They've put a budget number and commitment to that as well and are putting resources against that. I would also say to you that if you have people that that are interested in working with our training group as instructors, we are actively seeking instructors as well. They'll be interviewed and vetted through ICC training, but I'll be glad to help facilitate that conversation, or you can contact Matthew Wynn or Jerica Stacy directly with those recommendations as well.
Well, as moving forward, I'm going to hope and I'm going to request that, you think about the members of this governing council, think about stepping up and taking on one of those roles in the future. That's what I would encourage you. I'll now open it up to questions, comments from anybody in attendance. I can't believe in this room, there's no comments or questions. Good, Tom.
Maybe that we're not there yet, but is there much planned for like the spring, in-person type meetings or anything like that? And is it gonna look similar to like the last?
There is. You can pull it up.
Just not North Dakota.
So, just not in North Dakota, is that what you're saying? Okay, so again, here we are at the ICC website. We're gonna take a look at resources and news and events, annual meetings. So you see this one is actually at the top of the list still. Once that page loads, you'll see that we're still here for the group A2, but then when you take a look at ICC Leadership Week and the 2025 Committee Action Hearings Group B1, mark your calendars for April the 27th through May the 6th, 2025. We'll be again at the Doubletree Universal Orlando, where we were this past spring, in Orlando, Florida, and then on to Sean. Where are we headed next year for the annual conference?
The destination location of the Midwest, Cleveland, Ohio.
Start proposing a backyard barbecue for all fire.
Absolutely.
Is that gonna be an outdoor fire?
Only if the farmer wears a mosquito.
Will the pool still be open by then?
That event? Yes, yeah, I didn't say that.
We're going to speed up the hearing.
A reminder that this call is being recorded. So does that answer your question?
We're in that. It's good.
You're good, Doug? You got it all?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other comments, questions? Sir?
Yeah, Robert Marshall, just wanted to, we talked about the single stair issue a couple times today. We are trying very hard to rebrand that, not call it the single stair issue. We're trying to call it one way out because that's what it is about. So just wanted to put that out there, stop calling it the single stair issue, start calling it what it is, which is one way out of the building.
I would like to know. I think it was the first year in a long time that Bob Davidson hasn't been here, and he recently got the award. And there's rumors going on that he intentionally put the stick in his eye so he can wear a patch from now on.
Just wanted to match the logo on the shirt.
If you want to see a picture of the patch, I've got that.
On the stick.
Yeah, that is not for the faint of heart, for sure.
Anything for the good of the order? I would just like to thank everybody for attending, and I appreciate, and I'm glad to see that Christine is still going to be around with us. She has been a wonderful support, help, and just an overall good friend to me. So I'm glad to see her hanging around, and I'll be leaning on her more and more as it goes forward. Director Toomey has left the office, the building for right now. But I'm glad to see Sean step up and look forward to continuing the good work that he has done and will continue to do. And to all our board of directors, their support in this endeavor. It's always an honor to be in front of you all. So thank you. Any other comments, questions, good to the order? Motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good day, safe trip, or enjoy the rest of your stay.
Thanks, everybody online.
My goals. Friends.